Welcome to T2T Network, and this is New York Giants Corner, baby. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of New York Giants Corner here at T2T Network. I am Joe, your favorite New York Giants content creator in the universe. It is Thursday, November 16th. I want to apologize for not doing this video or dropping this video yesterday morning. It's supposed to be out Wednesday mornings at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard, but so I've been busy, real life calls, and the family and I are leaving on Friday for vacation. So I've got a lot of stuff to wrap up before we head out. But I definitely want to make a video now. Since we'll be on vacation, I probably won't be doing a video next Wednesday. So wanted to get this video out there. And it wasn't exactly sure what I was going to talk about because it's such a lost season that, and we still have half the season to go. It's been brutal. It's almost like, what do you even talk about at this point? It's like, I'm probably going forward. I'm probably not likely to talk about each individual game. I just don't see much, aside from hopefully young players developing, seeing Deonte Banks, maybe Jalen Hyatt, if we can get the ball to the guy, some other young players too, like Cordell Flott, Thibodeau, you name it. I want to see those guys develop. But other than that, we're just pretty much waiting for the end of the season. And, what are the ramifications going to be for everything that has been a colossal mess in 2023? What are the ramifications going to be in the offseason? Are coaches going to be fired? I think there's some coaches that should be fired, like the offensive line coach and the special teams coach. Other than that, I don't see any of the coaches being fired, nor would I really be in favor of that. How much is the roster going to be turned over this offseason? That could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing too. I do like the talent that Shane has accumulated in his 2 seasons so far. Things have not worked out this well at all this year at all, obviously, but I do like the talent that he's been accumulating. But we need a lot more, whether it's talent, coaching, seasoning, experience, some more, key veterans in key places, guys who know how to win, guys who are leaders. We need all of that. So, but I do like the way the team is building. It might sound ridiculous regarding, especially since we have, we have 2 wins this season and it's a lost season. I get it. But I don't think this team's as bad as we've seen this season. I really don't. I think anything that could have went wrong. And I think that defines 2023. And I'll tell you, I've been a Giants fan since 1982, the last year of the Ray Perkins era. And this may be, the worst season I can remember, just given the expectations coming into this season. This has got to be the worst season I can remember off the top of my head. So, but anyway, I have seen a lot of content out there. Like I said, geez, I'm like, what do I really even talk about going forward? I mean, the draft's not even for another 6 months. I really don't want to get too much into, mock drafts for the Giants just yet here in mid-November. I don't want to do that just yet, but, just scanning the other content creators out there, many who I follow, like 40 other Giants content creators. I respect and love them all. And, I see a lot of things out there on YouTube and Twitter about tanking, how people want to tank. And I think I know what they're getting at. But to me, there's a difference between tanking and rooting for losing out. And I hate to do that, but I'm at the point now where, and I think many people are, where not everyone. And for those who don't want to lose out, I respect you. And you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And I'll get to that in a second. I'm not for tanking. I am for losing out. I am rooting for losing out the rest of the season. I don't want to get any more wins. There aren't going to be any moral victories and any wins going forward. I do want to see players develop. I want to see players get better. I do want to see the team perform better, but I'd like to lose close games, let's say like 21-20 or something like that. But I don't believe in tanking. And I think that's a term that I've seen over the past like 2 weeks or so that I think is thrown around too much. Is it time to tank? Let's tank, stuff like that. Tanking means basically purposely throwing, not purposely throwing games, but making it, purposely making it so disadvantageous for your team that you're setting up a loss, basically. That you are purposely tying at least one hand behind your back in order to lose a game. And I guess that happens a lot in basketball. I'm not really a basketball fan. The team that I follow is the Brooklyn Nets, formerly known as the New Jersey Nets. That's the team that I follow in basketball, but unless they're doing well, I don't care about the Nets or basketball. I always tell people when it comes to basketball, listen, there's a lot of beauty in basketball, but for me, every game's kind of the same. I always tell people when it comes to basketball, well, you don't really have to watch the entire game because there's so much scoring. You can pretty much put on any basketball game at the final 2 minutes, and invariably almost every single score is going to be like 100-98, and each team is going to have its full complement of timeouts and its full complement of injuries to give, and that's where the fun really, really starts. Football, it's not the same thing. You got to keep this team cohesively together, believing in the coaching staff. And right now, everything's been such a mess that, and they've got so many games to go. This whole season unwound so quickly and so early that I truly believe Dable, at least, I don't know about the rest of the coaches like Wink, even though there's been some rumblings from McKinney, definitely with Dable, like he's got to be careful not to lose this locker room. And that's a real possibility. That's a real thing. I mean, kudos to Dable for last year. Even last year, I felt like the team was more talented than people thought. I thought the team would get like around 9-10 wins, and they did, and they went to the playoffs. I thought with the right coaching, they would do that. And they had the right coaching. And Dable did a great job last year. And I'm not throwing that in the trash can. I'm not going to blame just Dable or any one person. Even though, listen, he's the head coach. He sets the tone. He is the head coach. And so a lot of it definitely is on his shoulders. But it's not just on him. But I'm not going to throw out last year, into the trash can at all and just strictly look at Dable this year. I think there are people who are like, kind of open-ended, like, hey, listen, I can understand if the Giants let Dable go after this year. That's not a good move. That's not a good move. I'd have to give him at least one more year. And assuming they draft a quarterback in the first round this year, I'm definitely giving him 2 years to help groom that quarterback. And remember, Dable came over with Shane from Buffalo, and I think these two guys are pretty much linked at the hip there, where I don't think Shane is going to be firing Dable anytime soon. You have to see how next season goes. I mean, if next season is like this season, then Shane would have to seriously consider that, I guess. But those two are close as far as I know. It's not just a working relationship. I think they really, I believe they developed a friendship up in Buffalo. So that would make it even harder for Shane to make a decision to let Dable go. But you can't let Dable go after just this 1 year. But anyway, let's get back to the topic at hand, and that is tanking versus losing out. So again, I am not for, let's look, for example, I'm not for tanking. And that is where you're purposely putting your team at a disadvantage situation going into a game. For example, when Tyrod Taylor comes back, I'm playing Tyrod Taylor. Unless Tommy DeVito say this week, while Tyrod Taylor is still on the IR, if DeVito starts showing some real promise, I'm going to roll with DeVito. I will roll with DeVito. And people have been crapping on DeVito. He shouldn't be on the field. He's the third string quarterback. I don't know who the hell you think you're going to get unless you were going to trade, for a veteran quarterback from another team who has experience, like the guy that the Vikings picked up from the Cardinals, brain farting on the name right now, who's looking really, really good. Dobbs saved the Giants, but there was no reason for the Giants to trade for Dobbs, to be honest with you. Well, actually, there could have been if they really liked him a lot and they saw him as a potential starter going forward. If they didn't really want to draft a quarterback in the upcoming draft, but point being that he's a third string quarterback, and this is where you're really going to get with third string quarterbacks, is DeVito's type play. Plus, DeVito, was on the practice squad. He really, leading up even I think to his second game, didn't have much time as any time getting number one reps in practice. Even though he was at that time, he was listed as the backup quarterback. He wasn't getting those reps. DJ took over for, the previous game he was a starter, and then he went out, and then he went out with the injury, and DeVito came in. And but DeVito now is going to get time to, he's the starting quarterback. He's working with the number ones, and you may see a difference. It's not something I'm necessarily hoping for, or I'm saying expect, but point being that, unless Tommy DeVito was showing a lot of improvement this game and the next game up until Taylor comes back, when Taylor comes back, assuming DeVito doesn't show all that much improvement, I'm throwing Tyrod Taylor out because I got to give my players a chance to win. You got to give your players a feeling like they have a chance to win, like you're doing everything that you can in order to win these as many games as possible. Give them a fighting chance in each and every single game, and having the better quarterback, whoever that is out there, I assume it's going to be Taylor, will give that to them. And that goes towards keeping this locker room together, because like I said, I do think Dable is in danger of losing this locker room. There's still a long way to go, and it's been horrendous this season. There's still a long way to go. So he needs to do everything he possibly can in order to keep that locker room together, and playing the best players is the way to go. Now, there are some certain instances, positions where I'm going to want to get a younger player more reps, than say a veteran. Maybe the veteran would be better for right now. And to me, that's not tanking. That is, hey, listen, let's use the rest of the season to get these young players, more experience. I'm totally cool with that, and I don't think that falls into tanking. But when Tyrod Taylor comes back, like I said, that's the difference. The quarterback play, makes all the difference in the world. And unless Tommy DeVito, unless he's showing up until Taylor comes back, unless Tommy DeVito is showing a lot of improvement where he could, I'm not saying he's going to show improvement where he can be okay, he's going to be our future starter going down the road and next year. No, obviously not. He's not going to show that much improvement. But if he's showing enough improvement where you could be thinking, oh, you know what, he could be our backup next year, or be our backup quarterback going forward, then I would play DeVito if he's showing that much improvement. But the point is, I can't tank. I'm not actively rooting for tanking. And I see that term tanking out there so much that I wanted to address it. I think it's kind of thrown out there kind of callously, and I'll never support tanking. Never. But I am rooting for the team to lose out. And so that means I can't watch the games live. I can't do that because if I'm watching these games, each week, if I'm watching the Giants game each week live, I'm going to be rooting for a win. If we're driving and if we're, on the opposing team's 2-yard line, we got the ball, I'm going to want to punch it in. If the score is, 20-14 and we've got 2 seconds left on the clock and we're at the opposing team's 2-yard line and we can punch it in for the win, I'm going to want to punch it in for the win. But I don't want us to win. Honestly, we need to lose out because we have a chance to a legitimate crack at getting one of two really, really good quarterback prospects. And no prospect they are prospects for a reason. And I don't care how highly touted they are not proven in the NFL. There have been a lot of quarterback prospects that have come out that have been highly touted, that have flamed out, that were absolutely horrible, or at least have not lived up to expectations. I can't say that about Caleb Williams and Drake May. Those are two legitimate, really good, high ceiling, high floor quarterback prospects. So that's why I'm rooting for us to lose out. And I hate to do that. I don't think I've ever really done it before. And honestly, it's I don't want to get too caught up in it, because the fact is that we could possibly win another game or two that knocks us out of the top two positions. And to get one of those quarterbacks, you're going to have to be in position number 1 or number 2 when you're drafting in the first round, because if you're sitting at number 3, 4, 5, you're going to have to trade up to get one of those guys, which I hate doing. I hate doing that. But if you got to do it, you got to do it. Don't get me wrong. But if you're not drafting 1 or number 2, you're not going to be the only team looking to trade up to get one of those quarterbacks, if those positions are even available, if those picks are even available. Whoever's picking 1 or 2 may want to take those quarterbacks. They may not even be open for trading back. So that's why I'm rooting for losing out. Plus, it's not just the first round. It's not just in the first round, but if you're picking number 2, say where we are right now is the Giants. If you're picking number 2 in the first round, that means you're basically picking number 2 in the second round, number 2 in the third, number 2 in the fourth, et cetera, et cetera. And that means a lot too, because you're getting an earlier crack at players that are left for you in those subsequent rounds. And who knows, maybe in the second round, we have 2 second-round picks. We may want to trade up back into the first round to get another player and to get that 50-year option on a player instead of waiting for them to fall in the second round. You may want to strike when the iron's hot and trade up into the back end of the first round for many reasons. It could be, a player that you love, maybe an offensive tackle, where you move Evan Neal next season to guard, could be an edge rusher, could be a Leonard Williams replacement at defensive tackle. So cornerback, whatever, wide receiver, we always talk about wide receivers. So it would take less for you to move up into the first round. If you've got the second overall pick in the second round, as opposed to pick number 7. So, it sucks, but, I am rooting for losing out. Like I said, I can't watch the games live because I will be rooting for wins then if I'm watching them live. But I wanted to address the term tank. I can't stand it. And I think really what a lot of other content creators are really talking about is, let's lose out. And I don't think they really purposely want to set it up where, you're tying both hands behind your back for the team to lose. I don't think so. But I see the term tank out there. I wanted to address it. I can't stand that. I can't stand the idea of purposely losing games. Even though, like I said, I want to lose, but I want to lose fair and square, trying to put the best players out there possible to give this team and this locker room a chance. To solidify and to get ready for next season. So anyway, guys, I got to cut this video short. It's 9:20. I'm officially on the clock at work at 9:30. So anyway, that's it. Like I said, I probably won't be doing a video next week. I will be on vacation. I might try to squeeze one in if I got the time. But from California, where I will be visiting my wife's side of the family for Thanksgiving. Anyway, if I don't see you guys, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Love you all. Let's go New York Giants, and hang on here for the really cool outro video. I'll catch you all soon. Take care.